Part 19. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 182. He wanted to lie down on the bed to sleep, but at this time there was still the smell of Shang Yuna's body on his bed, which was very nice. But Lin Feng still turned on the computer and quickly opened the pages of the book. Yang Chunbaixu's reward has not been delivered yet, but he knew that it would definitely arrive, and he didn't know how long it would last. Lin Feng didn't want Yang Chunbaixu to reward him all the time, which made him very uneasy, but he also hoped to see Yang Chunbaixu's reward. Staring blankly at the computer screen for a while, the idea of coding immediately came to mind, but this idea disappeared after 30 seconds. Lin Feng turned off the computer, slumped on the bed, savoring the smell left by Shang Yuna, and fell asleep. When I woke up, it was lunchtime. Lin Feng walked to the street. The weather was getting warmer, and Lin Feng was waiting for the flowers to bloom. In fact, some flowers have already bloomed, such as apricot flowers, but apricot flowers are rarely seen in Beijing. There are many apricot trees in Shuiqing County, so Lin Feng is no stranger to apricot flowers. When he had a crush on Wang Xiaoqian in junior high school, Lin Feng still walked around the campus with apricot flowers in his hands. Maybe someone scolded him very badly, but he didn't hear it at the time. If he heard it, how to deal with it depends on his mood. If he was in a good mood, he didn't hear it. If he was in a bad mood, he rushed up and kicked. At that time, he was really afraid of being laughed at, so he pretended to be playing with the apricot flower. The apricot flower spun in his hand and the petals fell. Lin Feng hopes that before the petals fall, Wang Xiaoqian can pass by him, first showing a frivolous smile, and then saying to him, "Lin Feng, give me the apricot flower in your hand, boy." That time Wang Xiaoqian did walk by his side, but unfortunately, Wang Xiaoqian didn't look at him or the apricot flower in his hand. Lin Feng threw the apricot flower in a rage, and the apricot flower fell a few meters away. Several people who ran wildly passed by and stepped on the apricot flower, and the beautiful apricot flower turned into dust and mud. Years have passed, but that scene is still very clear, and Wang Xiaoqian didn't notice it. But Lin Feng will always remember it. After returning to the master bedroom after lunch, Lin Feng opened the document and started coding after a while. The sound of the green axis mechanical keyboard was a wonderful sound to Lin Feng. In less than an hour, Lin Feng could code out 4,000 words. Lin Feng was worried that the speed would affect the quality of the plot, so he read the passages just written twice in a row, feeling pretty good, and then continued. In the chat account, Wang Wei's avatar flashed, and Lin Feng clicked to take a look. Wang Wei sent him a very cute message, "Lin Feng, are you still sleeping? At night thinking about your wife is affecting your sleep, so your kid is making up for sleep again, right? Lin Feng, don't irritate me. We already have a girlfriend. Guess who my girlfriend is?" When Wang Wei first started, she didn't believe that Lin Feng suddenly had a girlfriend, but sometimes love came too fast as lightning. It is estimated that Lin Feng will not be idle, so this is nonsense with her, and he simply believes that he has a girlfriend. Wang Wei, Dinan? Lin Feng, no. Wang Wei, it can't be Shang Yuna, right? Lin Feng, it's her. Wang Wei posted a laughing picture, followed by a message, "You kid cares about silver. And it is a very tragic Italian silver. Lin Feng, I didn't lie to you, believe it or not." There was no news from Wang Wei for a few minutes, but Lin Feng's cell phone rang, and it was Wang Wei who called. Lin Feng picked it up and said with a smile, "Xiao Yi, what I just told you is true. A few days ago, Yun Na became my girlfriend." Wang Wei said, "Congratulations, you finally got your wish. Yun Na is very good. If your love with her can end, you will be blessed as a kid. The descendants you make are all from Beijing." Indeed so. If Lin Feng and Shang Yuna have a child, they will definitely have Shang Yuna's household registration, that is from Beijing. But the reason why Lin Feng is infatuated with Shang Yuna is not because Shang Yuna is from Beijing, but because he likes Shang Yuna's beauty and temperament. Lin Feng said, "Xiao Yi, it's time for you to find a boyfriend. Don't waste it all the time. It's almost done. Be careful." Wang Wei sighed and said, "Unfortunately, the man I like already has a girlfriend, so I can only continue to suffer." Lin Feng knew that Wang Wei was talking about him. Lin Feng said, "Are you excited? Remember, I found you on purpose and wanted you to be my girlfriend, but you refused." Wang Wei giggled, "I was just joking, don't take it too seriously, you are a person with such a good girlfriend, and it will hurt your body to continue to be affectionate." Lin Feng was very annoyed but also very out of temper. He really wanted to press Wang Wei onto the sofa and slap her hard a few times. Wang Wei's buttocks are round and elastic, and a slap on her buttocks can make people's hands very comfortable. Lin Feng thought of a very crucial question, "Since you have time to chat with me, you should be at home, right?" Wang Wei said it was at home. Lin Feng worried, "Why didn't you go to work, did something happen?" Wang Wei said that her stomach hurt, so she didn't go. "Don't worry, there is no big problem. Maybe it was because she had a bad dinner last night." Lin Feng said, "Why don't I go and see you?" Wang Wei said, "I know you are very interesting to your friends, but you really don't need to be so inspiring." "Oh, he, if you eat my tofu in the future, I'll be the one to sue. Just give Shang Yuna a call. Don't clean you up." Lin Feng did not follow Wang Wei's meaning and said that he would not casually advertise Shang Yuna as a woman who does not like to be jealous, because at this time Shang Yuna has already exposed signs of jealousy. Lin Feng said, "I know that you are very busy with work, and sometimes work overtime, pay attention to your body, and wish you to find a boyfriend soon." Wang Wei gave a sweet hum and hung up the phone. Lin Feng began to think, what will Wang Wei's future boyfriend look like? Will it be local in Beijing or out of town? Will it be a handsome person or a birdman who is very difficult to communicate with? Lin Feng continued to code, the speed was not as fast as before, and after teasing Wang Wei for a few minutes, his thinking was affected. Gradually, his speed increased again. By 5 o'clock, he had already typed more than 10,000 words. It seems that he is very hopeful to reach 15,000 words today. It will be okay if you add more gas at night. When Lin Feng refreshed the book page again, he saw that Yang Chunbaixu's reward for today had been delivered. The message was, "I really like your book. It would be great if you could update 20,000 words every day." Lin Feng looked at Yang Chunbaixu's message, a warm current surged in his heart, and said, "Let me know who you are. Anyway, let me treat you to a meal, even if you are an extremely ugly woman, I will think you are beautiful." Lin Feng believes that Yang Chunbaixu is very likely to be a woman so beautiful that he can't believe it, just like the apricot flowers in Shuiqing County, like the pink clouds in the morning. When Lin Feng started to think about what to have for dinner, he received a call from Li Xingguo. Someone kicked the gym in the Jinwu Center, Li Xingguo was injured, and 2 coaches were also injured. The person who kicked the gym arrogantly left his contact information, saying that Li Xingguo could find a better person to contact him. It's not surprising that something like this happened in the Jinwu Center. Someone kicked the gym before, and Li Xingguo's father Li Yang was injured. Among all the people in Huaxia, the proportion of people who can kung fu is not high, but there are still people who can beat a lot of. Li Yang and Li Xingguo and their sons are both experts, but whether they are in Beijing or other places, there are many more people who can fight than their father and son. For example, Lin Feng. Li Yang said before that even if he joined forces with Li Xingguo and his son, they would not be Lin Feng's opponents, and Li Xingguo also recognized this. Since the guy who kicked the gym asked him to find someone more powerful to contact him, the first thing Li Xingguo thought of was his buddy Lin Feng. That's right. Now Lin Feng and Li Xingguo are iron buddies. Lin Feng lost the mood to eat dinner, took a taxi to Jinwu Center, and saw him in Li Xingguo's room. His face was swollen, his arms and legs were injured, and there was a bruise on his stomach. Li Xingguo complained while smoking a cigarette, "It's really depressing, and I was beaten again. After a meal, I lost 100,000 yuan. Lin Feng said, "What is the name of the person who challenges you?" Li Xingguo said, "Li Jieliang." Lin Feng said, "Also surnamed Li, is it your relative, but you forgot that you have such a relative in your family." Li Xingguo's mouth finally showed a smile, and he twitched again soon. "Don't be kidding, he is definitely not my relative, my family has no relatives in the Northeast, although he didn't say where his hometown is, you can listen to it. Come out, it's on the Northeast side. Did that Northeasterner named Li Jieliang come to play in Beijing, and then learned that Li Xingguo from the Jinwu Center was better at fighting, so he came to challenge?" Lin Feng pondered while smoking a cigarette, and felt more and more strange. Lin Feng said, "Do you think Li Jieliang's challenge to you is a conspiracy?" Until now, Li Xingguo had not linked Li Jieliang's challenge with the conspiracy, and when Lin Feng said this, he felt abnormal. When Li Jieliang came over, he was very arrogant. Someone asked him who he was looking for. He pushed the person away. Later, two coaches walked over and asked him to knock him down if it was purely to challenge him. Before seeing him, you shouldn't do anything to others. Look at that Li Jieliang, obviously he won't be in the society. He is a very authentic trainer and a master. Li Xingguo said, "If it is really a conspiracy, then who is Li Jieliang looking for?" Lin Feng said, "Who else can be, it must be Guan Weidong, Shang Yuna broke up with him, and I am fine, Guan Weidong must hate me, because of his identity, Guan Weidong wants to clean up me, but he doesn't want people to know that he did it. So here comes this one." Li Xingguo felt that Lin Feng's analysis was very reasonable. He sneered and said, "What are you going to do? Do you want to fight with Li Jieliang?" Since he was recruited by Guan Weidong, his kung fu is definitely not weak. Maybe he is a top-level expert that neither of us can believe. If not, Guan Weidong wants to fix you. Lin Feng said, "If I don't take the bait, Guan Weidong will think of other ways to fix me. Even if I don't accept Li Jieliang's challenge, he will have a chance to fight me. It's a big deal to stop me on the road. Besides, that Li Jieliang hurt you. He also won you 100,000 yuan, so I have to give him some blood." To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 183. Li Xingguo definitely hoped that Lin Feng and Li Jieliang would fight. If Lin Feng defeated Li Jieliang and won back the money he lost, he would have a lot of face, otherwise if this matter spread, it would be shameful again. In the past, Li Xingguo had done a lot of face-saving things, and he had also done a lot of shameful things. Although his skill was not weak, the number of times he was beaten was not small. Li Xingguo hopes to do more face-saving things and less shameful things in the future. He doesn't want everything he does to have face-to-face, because that's impossible. Lin Feng said, "If you contact Li Jieliang, I will call him." Li Xingguo said, "Okay, I will contact him immediately." Li Xingguo dialed Li Jieliang's cell phone, and Li Jieliang picked it up quickly. "It's you, the defeated general, what's the matter with you contacting me? Did you find someone more powerful than you?" Li Xingguo said, "If you find it, you can come here." Li Jieliang didn't want to wait too long. It would be fine if he repaired Lin Feng quickly. In less than an hour, he arrived at the Jinwu Center and saw Li Xingguo, who injured him, as well as Lin Feng, an online writer who knew Kung Fu. In Lin Feng's eyes, Li Jieliang is a very burly and charming man. From his eyes, he can find a kind of power. Once such a person is righteous, he will be very righteous, and if he is evil, he will be very evil. The key depends which way he goes. In Li Jialiang's eyes, Lin Feng is a very ordinary person. People who know Kung Fu in general can see some clues even if they are walking on the road. If Lin Feng is really like Guan Weidong said, he is a top master. Then Lin Feng hid himself deeply enough. Li Jialiang said, "You are a so-called master. I don't think you are enough for me to punch. It's no child's play to get on the ring. If you don't want to be disabled in the rest of your life, then forget it." The reason why he said this was not to stimulate Lin Feng, because Lin Feng asked him to come over to fight him, so he didn't need to use aggressive tactics. The purpose of what he said was to reduce Lin Feng's suspicion of him, so that he believed that his appearance was an accident and had nothing to do with Guan Weidong. Lin Feng said, "Since I asked you to come, I will definitely fight with you, but the bet is not 100,000 yuan, but 200,000 yuan. If you have so much money on hand, start the fight immediately. If not, just wait until you have it." From the police academy to the present, Li Jialiang is a person with strong self-esteem. What Lin Feng said just now made him feel poor, which made him very uncomfortable. Li Jialiang sneered and said, "Maybe you are a person with little money, but I can still afford such a small amount of money. There is no problem with the bet of 200,000. If I lose, I will give you the money tomorrow. If I lie to you, I am the grandson. Very backbone." Lin Feng can be sure that if Li Jialiang loses, he will be given money tomorrow. If Li Jialiang was really found by Guan Weidong, there would be no need to worry about the money issue. Guan Weidong would naturally pay for Li Jialiang. Lin Feng and Li Jialiang entered the ring, and so far, he has not had dinner. Li Jialiang did not eat dinner either. Lin Feng didn't feel hungry, but Li Jialiang was already a little hungry. When he received the call from Li Xingguo, he had already sat in a northeastern restaurant. Plan to eat and drink. He is a swift and resolute person. Since Li Xingguo asked him to come over, he would arrive at the fastest speed, and he was too lazy to eat. After leaving the northeast restaurant, he quickly arrived at the Jinwu Center. There were many people in the audience, including Li Xingguo and nearly 20 people from Jinwu Center. Lin Feng's face was light and breezy. He was very relaxed when he stood there. He didn't mean to take off his clothes. Even if he took off the clothes on his upper body, Lin Feng's muscles were not exaggerated, but his strength was very strong. Li Jialiang took off his upper body shirt, revealing his strong muscles. When he shrugged, his muscles surged, proving that he was very powerful. Lin Feng and Li Jialiang stared at each other's eyes for almost 3 seconds. Li Jialiang moved first, kicking Lin Feng's chest. Very fast. If Li Jialiang is kicked, Lin Feng may collapse with a bang, and then be carried to the hospital, where he will recuperate for 2 months in excruciating pain. But Lin Feng's dodging speed was faster than Li Jialiang's flying kick, and he moved his body lightly to avoid Li Jialiang's flying legs, and instantly punched Li Jialiang's ribs. Li Jialiang is not a vegetarian. The combination of solid traditional Kung Fu and powerful Sanda Kung Fu will definitely not let Lin Feng hit him with the first punch. Li Jialiang pushed aside Lin Feng's right arm and punched him in the face. The moment Lin Feng dodged sideways, he threw his hand upside down at Li Jialiang's face. The flipping speed just now was too fast. Li Jialiang thought he could avoid it by tilting his head, but he was half a beat slower, and it turned out that the back of Lin Feng's hand slapped his face. Hearing a snap, blood dripped from the corner of Li Jialiang's mouth. He was so embarrassed that he kicked out Lin Feng with just 2 kicks, aiming at Lin Feng's head. Lin Feng avoided Li Jialiang's sharp leg sweep, followed by a whip leg. Li Jialiang kicked Lin Feng's whip leg, and Lin Feng's body leaned back a few steps. Li Xingguo gasped. If Lin Feng had collapsed on the ring just now, Li Jialiang would have beaten him badly. Lin Feng ate a foot on his calf and was injured to a certain extent. It was very painful, but he was able to bear it completely. He moved with small steps, and it didn't look like he was injured. But Li Jialiang knew very well in his heart that Lin Feng's right calf was injured. He had already felt it just now. Lin Feng is indeed a master, and his kung fu is much higher than he imagined. If he was just a person with average kung fu, he wouldn't have had the chance to deal with him for so long, but up to now, he hasn't made a profit at all. Although Lin Feng's right calf was injured, his face was also injured. Li Jialiang approached step by step. Lin Feng stood there and didn't move, but he had a premonition that Li Jialiang was about to punch. Sure enough, Li Jialiang punched Lin Feng's cheeks. The moment Lin Feng dodged, his right leg kicked up Li Jialiang's stomach. This leg was very powerful, and Li Jialiang bent down while screaming. Lin Feng's knees lifted instantly and hit Li Jialiang's face. Oh ah! With a scream, Li Jialiang's nose bone was broken and blood spurted out. Lin Feng then slammed a punch at Li Jialiang's head, and Li Jialiang fell to the ground with a bang, and the ring was stained with blood. The moment Li Xingguo stood up, the more than 20 people in the Jinwu Center also stood up. The moment Li Xingguo applauded, the more than 20 people also began to applaud. Lin Feng, mighty. Lin Feng, tough. Lin Feng, you are too good. The shouts were loud, but Lin Feng's expression was very indifferent. He walked off the ring and said to Li Xingguo, call an ambulance, otherwise he will suffocate to death. Li Xingguo sighed, and quickly took out his mobile phone and dialed 120. It may be that the road is not too congested. 120 is very efficient. Stop the bleeding and ensure that he will not suffocate. As for the operation, it will be a matter after arriving at the hospital. 2 people from Jinwu Center followed Li Jialiang to the ambulance. Neither Lin Feng nor Li Xingguo went. Lin Feng had already arrived at Li Xingguo's room, and the two drank Longjing tea together. Lin Feng lit a cigarette, blew out a breath of smoke, took out his mobile phone, hesitated for a moment, and dialed Guan Weidong's number. Seeing that the call was from Lin Feng, Guan Weidong had an ominous premonition. After deliberating for a while, he picked it up and said coldly, Lin Feng, what are you calling me for? Did Shang Yuna kick you, and you are in pain? Lin Feng said, I have a very good relationship with Shang Yuna. I called to tell you that Li Jialiang was sent to the hospital by me, and the bridge of the nose is broken and needs surgery. You'd better go and have a look. Guan Weidong believes very much in Li Jialiang's character and style. Even if the bridge of his nose is broken, he will not betray him, and even if he is sentenced, he will not say anything that should not be said. Guan Weidong sneered and said, Lin Feng, is your kid sick? Who is Li Jialiang? I don't know him at all. His nose is broken for you. What did I do in the past? Oh, if Li Jialiang calls the police, I can go and arrest you. Lin Feng said, even if Li Jialiang called the police, it might not be you who called the police. I injured him at the Jinwu Center, and this is not your control. Guan Weidong, I warn you, if you don't show up, I will despise you very much. When I meet people, I will say that Guan Weidong seems to be a very righteous person, but he is actually a villain. Lin Feng did not take the opportunity to slander Guan Weidong's ability to work as a policeman, because he is indeed a good policeman, which has been verified in the past few years. Sweat came out of Guan Weidong's forehead, and he shouted bitterly, Lin Feng, you are a good boy, and then hung up the phone. When Li Jialiang performed the operation, Guan Weidong arrived, and he was very shameless, but he had to show up, otherwise his reputation might make Lin Feng stink. The operation went smoothly, and it didn't take much time. Li Jialiang was quickly pushed out. The entire nose was covered with gauze, leaving only 2 nostrils to let out air. The originally handsome face looked a little weird. In the ward, Li Jialiang said depressedly, I let my eyes fool me. Lin Feng doesn't look like a master, but his kung fu is really high, and I'm not his opponent. Guan Weidong said, if Lin Feng is just a person with average kung fu, I will clean him up, and I don't need to ask you to come here. Oh, the stake is still 100,000 yuan, right? Li Jialiang said, I didn't tell you in advance, but the bet has been raised to 200,000. It was proposed by Lin Feng, and I agreed. Guan Weidong was very annoyed. Can't you see that Lin Feng is tricking you? Li Jialiang was silent for a moment and said, I didn't even see that he was a kung fu master, so how could I see that he was tricking me? But fortunately, the bet is only 200,000, not 2 million. This amount of money is not a small amount to me, but to you, Guan Shao, it is just a drizzle. I have come from thousands of miles to do private affairs for you. Even if I fail, I have paid a lot. You see, I am lying on the hospital bed, and the bridge of my nose is broken and I have undergone surgery. Don't blame me. It is also true that Li Jialiang has tried his best, and it is not easy for him. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 184. At this time, Guan Weidong's vision of Li Jialiang was completely different from that of the police academy. He would not say that Li Jialiang was an old hat. He also knew that Li Jialiang had shining points on his body. He sighed and said that the 200,000, I will give it to Lin Feng. Li Jialiang said, why don't you give me the money, and then I give it to him, so that you don't have to expose it. Guan Weidong said that there is no point in continuing to be mysterious. Lin Feng has already guessed that you were found by me. Li Jialiang was completely speechless. He didn't remember his flaws, but Lin Feng still guessed it. It seems that Lin Feng is a really good online writer. Even if he does other things, he will be very good. Why does he have to write online novels? People have different aspirations, people's hearts are hard to figure out, people's ideals are all kinds of strange, different roads have different peaks have different scenery, some people see thousands of buildings, and some people see green mountains and rivers. Long stream. Although the nose was wrapped in gauze and affected his image, Li Jialiang's mouth showed a very comforting smile. He now admires Lin Feng very much. What is Loki? Just look at Lin Feng. The arrogant gangsters should not scream, and Loki can also be used as a headshot. It is a person like Lin Feng. Playing in front of such a person is called a danger. Guan Weidong said, go back earlier. Li Jialiang said, I plan to stop for 2 more days. Guan Weidong said, I have a case recently, I guess I will be very busy, I am afraid I don't have time to accompany you around. Li Jialiang said, you don't have time, but someone has time. Guan Weidong said, who? Li Jialiang said, Lin Feng. Guan Weidong shouted, how can you let Lin Feng go shopping with you? You are not friends with him, are you? Li Jialiang said that although I don't know much about Lin Feng's past, I can feel that he is a very good person, and I plan to make friends with him. You. Guan Weidong was so angry that he punched Li Jialiang in the face with his right hand. Li Jialiang did not dodge, and Guan Weidong's fist did not really land on his face. Li Jialiang said, if you just punched me in the face, I'd cut you off. Guan Weidong said angrily, you are so irritating, what are you, how can you do this? Li Jialiang said that no one is always a good thing, and no one is always a bad thing, and no one has ever said that a person can only have one friend. Like you, I am a person who loves to make friends. Although at the police academy, there were more people around you, but now, you may not have as many friends as me. Guan Weidong said coldly, you are free, and then left the ward angrily. Li Jialiang smiled coldly at Guan Weidong's back, closed his eyes slightly, and said with his heart, even if you leave, you will have to pay for the medical bills. Lao Tzu is here to do things for you. At about 10 o'clock in the evening, Lin Feng arrived at the Fengnan fashion store. 6 girls were shopping. Xia Kaiki followed them to introduce the products, twisting her hips. The slender legs moved gently, quite tasteful. Dainan found that Lin Feng had admired Xia Kaiki's back just now, and whispered, do you think Kaiki's is very exciting, do you want to touch it? Lin Feng also whispered. Kaiki's is very energetic, I want to touch it very much, but I can't touch it casually. There are many women's buttocks in this world that are very strong. I want to touch them, but some can't touch them, and some can't touch them casually. Dainan laughed, and his full began to ripple in front of Lin Feng again. If no one was watching, he would probably touch 2 more hands, and then Dainan might shout to him, what's the matter with you, there are girls friend, touch me too. Maybe Dainan wouldn't shout, but just looked at him with resentment, as if nothing had happened just now. Lin Feng took a look at today's account. It has sold more than 900 yuan so far. If 2 or 3 of the 6 girls are shopping, the turnover today will exceed 1,000. For Fengnan Fashion Store, it is not too difficult to achieve a turnover of more than 1,000 yuan, but it is very difficult to achieve a turnover of about 2,000 yuan every day. Not bad, 3 of the 6 girls bought things just now, 2 of them were small things, and the other one was a bag, so the turnover exceeded 1,100 yuan. Xia Kaiki finally breathed a sigh of relief, walked over a little lazily, and said leisurely, I am still the best. Before closing the door, the turnover exceeded 1,100 yuan, or you will be depressed again. Dainan said, knowing that you have merit, I will invite you to eat Häagen-Dazs. Xia Kaiki said, you have said several times in a row that you want to invite me to eat Häagen-Dazs, and when will you invite me? Dainan said softly, in a few days, I will invite you when I have time. Xia Kaiki felt that it would be good to be able to eat the Häagen-Dazs that Dainan invited in a month. She looked at Lin Feng's face, with a slightly charming smile, and said sweetly, Lin Feng, please invite me to eat Häagen-Dazs. Bar. Lin Feng won't even have the guts to invite Xia Kaiki to eat Häagen-Dazs because he has Shang Yuna's girlfriend. He smiled and said, no problem, I'll invite you another day. Regardless of whether Lin Feng would really invite her, she was very happy after hearing what Lin Feng just said. Xia Kaiki fell in love with Lin Feng very quickly. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as love at first sight. This kind of love sublimation is also very fast. It can be said that Xia Kaiki has fallen in love with Lin Feng. Coincidentally, Xia Kaiki did not appear before, and Lin Feng was single, but now Xia Kaiki appears, Lin Feng has a girlfriend. This made Xia Kaiki's love for Lin Feng slim. No one came in for the next quarter of an hour, but someone passed the door and looked in. After all, it's not a beauty shop, so Dainan and Xia Kaiki didn't stand on the road and pull people in like candy. Lin Feng couldn't do this. Even if the shop's turnover was 0 for a week in a row, Lin Feng couldn't stand on the road. Pull people, and when you are angry, you will pay for the things in the store yourself, so that the turnover will look better and Dainan's mood will be better. Back in the master bedroom, Lin Feng began to ponder his existing wealth. He would silently ponder it in his heart for almost every 3 days, and then predict to what extent his wealth could increase within this year. When he got the money he won from Li Jialiang, Lin Feng planned to give Li Xingguo 100,000 out of 200,000. It can be considered to make up for the 100,000 yuan he lost, or it is his business, but it must be given. If Li Xingguo accepts 100,000 yuan, then he still has 100,000 yuan left, and his wealth will increase to 800,000 yuan, and there is still a gap of 200,000 yuan from 1 million. Although a million is no longer a rich man, Lin Feng still wants to make his wealth more than 1 million, because he has never had so much money before, and neither did his parents. He had already written a lot during the day, but Lin Feng still planned to write another 3,000 words at night. Then find a good urban novel to read, and he will not forget to recharge himself while diligently coding. But before he could type a word, the knock on the door reached his ears. He didn't feel depressed because he had already written a lot during the day. Lin Feng walked over and opened the door. What he saw was Xia Kaiki, who had put on a thin night dress. Through the outline of the night dress, Lin Feng could see that Xia Kaiki was not wearing a chest photo. Shorts are on. Although the nightgown is very wide, there are still traces printed at the moment she takes a step. What Lin Feng smelled was the intoxicating aroma. What he saw was hot, and his body was tall and straight. Lin Feng said with a smile, "You are here again." Xia Kaiki hummed, "It seems that I'm really annoying you. You've used it again, so I'd better go out." Lin Feng said that if there is nothing important, he can go out at any time, and if there is something, he can talk about it. Xia Kaiki was even more angry than before. "I really want to turn around and go out, but I guess it won't make Lin Feng feel guilty, so forget it. Since the old lady came in, she will sit in your room for a while." Xia Kaiki sat on the sofa and said coquettishly, "Lin Feng, get me a glass of water. I heard from Dainan that you have good tea, make me a cup of it." Lin Feng made tea for Xia Kaiki and put it on the coffee table, then sat down at the computer desk. He opened an urban novel and read it. He originally wanted to code, but he knew that once he started typing on the keyboard, Xia Kaiki would stand beside him and watch him code. "I don't want her to see it, so I don't care." While drinking tea, Xia Kaiki also muttered in her heart, "Lin Feng, hurry up and type, I like to see how you type." Until Xia Kaiki finished drinking a cup of biluakun, Lin Feng didn't type on the keyboard, just clicked the mouse occasionally. Xia Kaiki walked to his side and surrounded him with an elegant fragrance. Lin Feng said, "What's the matter?" Xia Kaiki said, "Not much, I just want to see you." Lin Feng said, "I have nothing to look at, I am not a handsome guy, and I am not the fifth diamond king." Xia Kaiki said, "In fact, you are quite handsome." Lin Feng said, "Why didn't I find out?" Xia Kaiki said, "Because you are not a woman, a man needs a woman to discover his handsomeness. If a man makes himself handsome, he will be a little too narcissistic." Lin Feng smiled. He smiled comfortably, because he thought what Xia Kaiki had just said was very interesting, and he would use it in the novel later. The last time Lin Feng said that he should use a sentence from Xia Kaiki proposed to share his manuscript fee. Although it was a joke, Lin Feng did not intend to say it this time, and quietly used it in the book. If Xia Kaiki became his reader, we'll see, if not, then we'll not see. Xia Kaiki said, "You can code it?" Lin Feng said, "You stand beside me, I can't figure it out." Xia Kaiki said, "Oh, I didn't expect me to have such a great influence on you, I don't dare to stand beside you." The moment she was about to leave, Xia Kaiki quickly kissed Lin Feng's face. When Lin Feng was still at a loss, Xia Kaiki ran out. Lin Feng was not sure whether Xia Kaiki fell in love with him, but what was certain was that Xia Kaiki liked him a little. Lin Feng didn't want to develop in that direction with Xia Kaiki, even simple ambiguous things didn't want to play, so Xia Kaiki's feelings were not a good thing for him. He didn't want to take advantage of Xia Kaiki, and he didn't want to hurt Xia Kaiki. Right now, he didn't have a proper way to keep his distance from Xia Kaiki. Lin Feng had already conceived the plot, but he was kissed by Xia Kaiki. After reopening the document, he didn't know what to write. Never mind. Still not writing. Lin Feng closed the document, and soon even the computer, lying on the edge of the bed, lit a cigarette and started smoking. Halfway through a cigarette, someone knocked on the door again. I hope it won't be Xiakaiki this time. If it's Dainan, it will be better. Linfeng opened the door, and it turned out to be his girlfriend Shang Yuna standing outside the door. Linfeng took Shang Yuna's hand, but she pulled it out with great force, and turned around to leave. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 185. What's going on here? Linfeng chased after him and grabbed Shang Yuna's hand, and said in a not very high voice, "What's wrong with you? Since you're here, don't leave, I didn't mess with you." Shang Yuna said coldly, "You bastard, fooling around with other women when I'm not around you, you keep saying that you love me, how reliable are you?" Linfeng realized something, reached out and wiped it on his face, and then looked at his hand, it was all red. Xiakaiki first applied lipstick and then kissed his face. Just now, Shang Yuna clearly saw a red lip print. Linfeng even had the heart to cry bitterly. Xiakaiki's simple kiss hurt him, and if things went wrong, it would ruin his love with Shang Yuna. Linfeng picked up Shang Yuna and rushed towards the master bedroom where he lived. Shang Yuna's graceful body twisted hard, her slender legs kicked non-stop, but Linfeng was finally thrown onto the bed. Linfeng wanted to relieve Shang Yuna by stupefying, but when he tore Shang Yuna's clothes, she screamed. "Linfeng, you bastard, if you dare to take off my clothes, I will break up with you immediately." Linfeng's hand froze there immediately. It seemed that Shang Yuna was so angry that she even proposed to break up. Linfeng sat up and stared at Shang Yuna's face, with a very embarrassed expression, and his face was still red. At first it was a fiery red lip print, and then he wiped it away. Shang Yuna also sat up and said coldly, "To be honest, who kissed your face just now?" Linfeng couldn't answer. If he said it was Xiakaiki, Shang Yuna would immediately rush over to fight with Xiakaiki. Shang Yuna said coldly, "Okay, don't think that if you don't tell me, I don't know who it is, it must be Dainan's burning fox." Shang Yuna rushed out after getting out of bed. Linfeng wanted to stop her, but he was just in a daze. Shang Yuna rushed into Dainan's room. At this time, Dainan was dancing on the edge of the bed wearing a nightgown. Shang Yuna was fierce enough to lift her slender legs and hit Dainan's stomach with a kick. "Oh ah!" Dainan screamed and fell to the ground. Shang Yuna rushed over and kicked Dainan's stomach and thighs a few more times. The speed was very fast. She didn't know how to kung fu at first, but she seemed to be someone who knew how to do kung fu at this time. Dainan made Shang Yuna curl up, looked at her in pain, and choked, "Yuna, what's wrong with you? Why did you beat me?" Shang Yuna said coldly, "You burnt goods. Who told you to kiss my boyfriend? What are you? You have a life. Something that no one cares about, used to be a lover, and now it's not a good thing." Dainan was stimulated. She did have a life, no one cared, her parents each had a new family, and no one wanted her. Dainan stood up instantly, and slapped Shang Yuna with a flick of his hand. The slap was hard enough. He fanned the blood from the corner of Shang Yuna's mouth. Dainan said coldly, "You repeat what you just said again, believe it or not, I will crush you to death." Shang Yuna was stunned, took a breath and ran out crying, leaving the house that was divided into multiple partitions. Linfeng didn't dare to show his face, because once he appeared, no one could help, otherwise it would complicate the problem. But he just opened the door a crack, knowing that Shang Yuna ran away crying. When Linfeng went to Dainan's room, what he saw was Dainan whose night dress was covered in dust. "She must have let Shang Yuna down just now," Linfeng said. "She hit you." Seeing the red on Linfeng's face, Dainan immediately understood everything. It was all because of Xiakaiki's prank. This Yakaiki is simply afraid that the world will not be in chaos, it is too much. Now is not the time to teach Yakaiki a lesson. Dinan said that she hit me, and later she said that I have a life and no one cares, which stimulated me, and I hit her too. Linfeng said, Yakaiki went to my room just now, and when I was not paying attention, she kissed my face. Unexpectedly, she put on lipstick and left a red lip print on my face. Dinan immediately burst into tears, with tears streaming down his face. Yakaiki, this bastard, has made a big mess. If you do this, will Shang Yuna break up with you? Dinan wants Linfeng and Shang Yuna to be better forever. She is Linfeng's best friend. She has been thinking about Linfeng. She knows that Linfeng loves Shang Yuna very much, and she knows even more that if Linfeng and Shang Yuna get married, many benefits. Linfeng said, even if she really broke up with me because of this, I can't do anything about it. In fact, I didn't tell anyone just now, but she guessed that it was you, so she found trouble for you. You are equivalent to taking the blame for Yakaiki. Dinan said wistfully, Kaiki was introduced by me. She caused trouble, so I can only take the blame for her. It's normal for Yun-Na to want to know who the person who kissed your face is. She wants nothing more than it's just an answer, I'll have a good chat with her. Linfeng said, if you don't want to talk to her, stop talking, she can do whatever she likes, and I don't want to hurt my friend for my girlfriend. Dinan said, you have been good enough to me, and I should repay you. Linfeng said that there is no need to reciprocate between friends. I think you should not say anything to Yun-Na. Dinan said, I have decided. Linfeng was speechless. He wanted to beat Yakaiki, but now Linfeng didn't even have the strength to raise his hand. He slowly returned to his room, lay on the bed and closed his eyes, imagining what might happen, but he couldn't think of it. Dinan opened Yakaiki's door and saw that Yakaiki was lying on the bed listening to music, wearing headphones. No wonder she didn't hear anything just now. Seeing Dinan rushing in, Yakaiki sat up immediately. Because the earphones were plugged into her ears, she couldn't control her volume, and she made a particularly loud voice. Fortunately, it was you who rushed in. If there were other tenants, wouldn't I have disappeared? Remember to lock the door before you lie down on the bed next time. Just hearing a crisp snap, Dinan gave Yakaiki a slap in the face, and Yakaiki was immediately stunned. Her soft body trembled for a moment, tears streamed out, and she choked, why are you hitting me? Dinan said coldly, you are in trouble. You left a lipstick mark on Linfeng's face for Shang Yuna to see. Yakaiki was stunned and frightened at the same time. She left a lipstick mark on Linfeng's face, just to play a prank and surprise Linfeng when he washed his face in the morning, but she didn't expect that Shang Yuna would come over so late. Yakaiki said in a trill, and then what? Dinan told her everything after that, and Yakaiki's face was pale. Lips trembled, no, I can't let you take the blame for me, I will tell Shang Yuna that I kissed Linfeng's face. Dinan said that since she believes it is me, even if you say it is you, she will still think it is me. Yakaiki said, no. Dinan said, you can't be a fart, sometimes you're too much. Do you think that this will make Linfeng empathize with you? Stop dreaming. Dinan's words just now seemed to be bombarding Yakaiki's body one after another, causing her soft and graceful body to tremble. Dinan snorted coldly and walked out. Yakaiki cried a few times and stopped crying. Her face was cold, and she said in her heart, Linfeng and Shang Yuna are separated, maybe my spring is here. Morning. Linfeng hadn't fallen asleep until Dinan took a shower. He thought of a lot, but he thought of something, let him say, he couldn't say it. Yakaiki went to Fengnan fashion store. Linfeng was still lying on the bed. He felt that his love with Shang Yuna, which had been maintained for less than half a month, was about to be judged for the first time. Lin Feng hopes that Shang Yuna can give this love a reprieve instead of the death penalty. Otherwise he might get depressed. If he is depressed, it will affect his creation. In college, after he broke up with Shen Bingqian, he was depressed for a period of time. The feeling was very painful, and I still remember it fresh. Dainan called Shang Yuna. At this time, Shang Yuna had already taken 3 days off, intending to calm herself down a bit, and at the same time think about how to deal with her relationship with Lin Feng. To break up or not? Shang Yunjuan already knew what happened last night, although she was a woman who had slept with Lin Feng many times, but now that she didn't sleep, she was qualified to blame Lin Feng. Shang Yunjuan said, "How could this kid Lin Feng do this? With a good girlfriend like you, it's too expensive, and it's too cherished." But when Shang Yuna asked if I want to break up with Lin Feng, she said, "You think about it yourself." Seeing that the caller was Dainan, Shang Yuna's anger suddenly rose, and she even had the heart to give Dainan half a caddy of chili noodles. Shang Yuna didn't answer Dainan's call. Within 10 minutes, she called again, and Shang Yuna finally answered. "You shameless burning fox, you still have the face to call me. Isn't your relationship with Lin Feng very good? Let's have an affair. Lin Feng loves you the most. He only considers me an ordinary friend." I suddenly attacked and kissed his face when he wasn't paying attention. He even scolded me a few times. It's all my fault. Don't blame Lin Feng. Now, if you want to hit me, I can let you hit, and if you want to scold me, I can let you scold. What if I want you to get out? I can get out. Dainan couldn't control his emotions any longer and burst into tears. Come here. Okay. Last spring festival, Dainan lived with Shang Yunjuan and Shang Yuna. At that time, it was Shang Yunjuan who saw that she was pitiful, so he asked her to go there, so Dainan knew where the simple but warm residence was. Dainan has arrived. She was facing the cold faces of sisters Shang Yunjuan and Shang Yuna. She lowered her head and felt very guilty. She didn't do it, but she was really guilty at this time. She had already entered a perfect state of taking the blame. Shang Yunjuan began to display the power of her sister, and she wanted to make a big difference for Shang Yuna. She came over and pushed Dainan. Dainan took 2 steps back, looked at Shang Yunjuan's face with guilt, and lowered her head. Shang Yunjuan said, "I'm good to you. I've been good to you since you moved to my partition room. You remember the time you and Zhao Fei threatened me? If it wasn't for me to raise your hand, you and Zhao Fei may be in the game, at least half a year. After that, I was very mean to you. It's New Year's Eve. I saw you alone and asked you to live together, but why are you so shameless? When you kissed Lin Feng's face, you never thought that he was already Yun Na's man." Friends. Dainan didn't say anything. No matter what she said at this time, it was better not to say anything. Shang Yunjuan said again, "You are really a burning fox." Dainan still did not speak. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi Feng. Chapter 186. Hearing a snap, Shang Yunjuan gave Dainan a slap in the face. Dainan's head was turned to one side, and his long hair was messy, covering half of his face. Shang Yuna was originally a very civilized person. She beat Dainan last night. Now that she saw Shang Yunjuan beat Dainan again, she was much more rational than last night. She quickly said, "Sister, you stop hitting her, I'm going to sit down with her and have a good chat." Shang Yunjuan snorted coldly and walked towards Shang Yuna. "I'll go first, I still have something to do over there, you can handle the rest yourself." Shang Yuna nodded. Shang Yunjuan put on her bag and went out, leaving Shang Yuna and Dainan alone at home. The atmosphere was very dull. "Sit down." "Oh." Dainan's legs were a little weak, so he sat on the sofa and whispered, Yun Na, I'm sorry, you are all Lin Feng's girlfriend, I shouldn't be thinking about him all the time. To be honest, I love Lin Feng very much, but I will never be his girlfriend for the rest of my life, but sometimes I want to have an affair with him. Shang Yuna said that you don't want to be Lin Feng's girlfriend because he knows your past. Dainan snorted and said, Lin Feng would not let me be his girlfriend. He definitely doesn't want his girlfriend or the mother of his future child to be a woman who has played games. Besides, I am a person has no culture and no education, and many aspects will make him feel unsatisfactory. Shang Yuna's heart felt a little more comfortable. She said with a chuckle, can you answer me a question? Dainan said, just ask. Shang Yuna said, why do you burn so much? Dainan does not burn. Whether she was then or now, she doesn't burn. When playing games, her partner is Zhao Fei alone. If a man looks at her with evil eyes on the bus or subway, she will feel disgusted. When she broke free from that absurd game, she also played with a man like Lin Feng. Don't mess with others, so don't burn. But Shang Yuna asked such a question that made her heart hurt. She had to answer, otherwise Shang Yuna might get angry again. Then we can't continue talking. Dainan said, maybe it's because I have been disciplined since I was a child. I'm not a good person, I'll make you laugh, but I won't have a fever with Lin Feng in the future. If you want me to move out of the partition room, I'll be right after I go back. Find a house to move. Shang Yuna said, what's the use of moving? You and Lin Feng are partners and meet often. You return the money invested by Lin Feng to him, and you can manage that small shop by yourself. Dainan said. But I don't have that much money right now, and all the investment money is in the store. She choked up. She felt that the dream she had just started was about to shatter soon, and her life was too hard. Shang Yuna's heart is kind, and she can feel her bitterness from Dainan's crystal-like dewdrop-like tears. Shang Yuna said, you can return the money to him slowly, I mean, Lin Feng can't continue to partner with you. Dainan said, that's fine. I did as you said, there are thousands of mistakes, it's all my fault, Lin Feng is not wrong at all, don't blame him, don't break up with him. Shang Yuna said, are you afraid that I will break up with Lin Feng? Dainan said. Shang Yuna said, why? Dainan cried even more, Lin Feng has helped me a lot before, I treat him as a good friend, and I want him to be happy. Shang Yuna was moved. Her tears also flowed out. Shang Yuna said, if that kid Lin Feng was more sincere, I wouldn't part with him because of this matter, but if that kid plays with me, it's hard to say. In short, you should do what you should do yourself. That's it? Dainan nodded, I will do my best, can I go? You go, Shang Yuna said. Dainan walked to the street and cried all the way, which attracted the attention of many passers-by. Such a beautiful woman crying so sadly will definitely attract the sympathy of many men. Along the way, at least 5 men with a sense of justice asked her what happened, and even asked her if she needed to call the police. Dainan's answer is nothing or no need. Dang Dainan appeared in front of Lin Feng, his eyes were red from crying. Lin Feng felt distressed for Dainan, and said anxiously, what's the chat like? Dainan stabilized his emotions for a while, and then said what Shang Yuna meant, and Lin Feng got angry. Shang Yuna is equivalent to arranging things for him that should have been decided by himself. Lin Feng thought, Shang Yuna, you are really domineering. Even if you are my girlfriend, you shouldn't arrange my affairs. Lin Feng said, if you don't listen to her, you don't have to persuade me to withdraw the investment, and I will not withdraw, the Fengnan fashion store is still owned by the two of us. Dainan said, you are so stupid. If Shang Yuna can't find her way down the stairs, your love with her will really end, and you will lose an excellent opportunity. Lin Feng said, since it's going to be finished, then it's finished. Since he fell off the cliff, he could only fly for a while, and it would depend on his fate if he fell or died. Dinan said, "You are still." Lin Feng said coldly, "I told you, don't persuade me, my own business, I will decide for myself." Dinan didn't dare to say anything. Lin Feng quickly called Shang Yuna. When Shang Yuna saw that it was Lin Feng, she said in her heart, "You kid finally called, I won't answer." "I did not answer?" Lin Feng called again after a while, but this time Shang Yuna picked it up, but her tone was cold. "Are you annoying kid?" Lin Feng said, "Even if you break up, you should make it clear to your face. You have to let me know that you are not my girlfriend." Dinan should have told Lin Feng what she meant, but this is what Lin Feng told her? Shang Yuna's heart is very sad. Could it be that Lin Feng has decided to break up with her? She was a little reluctant in her heart. Compared with Guan Weidong, Shang Yuna cherished Lin Feng more. She said, "Come here and have a good chat." Lin Feng has arrived. In order to meet Lin Feng, Shang Yuna deliberately changed into a very hot outfit. She wanted to arouse Lin Feng's desire. Shang Yuna's attitude was not as bad as she imagined. She smiled and said, "Look at you, come to me and don't change your clothes." Lin Feng said, "The pants have changed, but you didn't see it?" Shang Yuna smiled slightly and sat on the sofa. Lin Feng sat beside her, lit a cigarette, and let out a breath of smoke with a sigh. Lin Feng said, "We have come to an end." Shang Yuna said, "Just started and ended?" Lin Feng said that it may be because the destination is too close. "It seems that it is just a few steps from the neighborhood where I live to the nearby overpass." Shang Yuna said, "What about the eternal life and the rotten sea and rocks?" Lin Feng said, "Those are all legends, and I have never used these two words for you before." Shang Yuna said, "Lin Feng, you kid bullies people." Lin Feng said, "I didn't bully you. Just to express what I mean, I will not withdraw my investment in Dinan, because she is my friend. It is impossible for me to even lose friends for my girlfriend." Shang Yuna cried and said, "Dinan and I, who is near you?" Lin Feng took another breath of smoke. "It's not a matter of distance. Not only do I need girlfriends, but I also need friends." Shang Yuna said, "We are separated. You don't have a girlfriend anymore." Lin Feng said that there will be more in the future, and you will have other boyfriends in the future, but the friendship between Dinan and I has not yet reached the point where it must end. Even if I withdraw the investment, I am afraid you will interfere with me and Dinan's normal interactions. I am the person. Can't stand this. Don't expect me to become a strict wife, I won't. Good web writer. A good online writer who has not yet become a god. A good online writer who knows Kung Fu and has not yet become a god. This is too personal, Shang Yuna kept mumbling in her heart. But she didn't know what to do for a while. She could expect that if she said the word breakup, Lin Feng would immediately break up with her, and she wouldn't even say anything to save her. Shang Yuna said, "No matter what, continue dating. You don't have to withdraw funds, continue to be ordinary friends with Dinan, but remember, don't keep playing ambiguous. Now you are mine, not another woman's." Lin Feng was moved by the concession made by the beautiful teacher Shang Yuna. Lin Feng grabbed Shang Yuna's hand tightly, looked at her beautiful face, and said in a low voice, "Actually, you don't have to do this for me." Shang Yuna said coquettishly, "I didn't even say we would break up, but you still say that. You're mad at me, don't you feel bad?" Lin Feng picked up Shang Yuna and walked towards the bedroom. On the big soft bed, two fiery bodies were enthusiastic. After being comfortable, Shang Yuna took a long breath to calm down. She kissed Lin Feng's face and smiled charmingly. "If there is a conflict in the future, neither of us should say goodbye easily, okay?" Lin Feng said, "Good." Shang Yuna said, "In fact, when the two of us were always in conflict, I liked you a little bit. Although you have no money and your future is still unclear, I always feel that you are different from other men." At that time, I was very eager to catch the golden turtle son-in-law, so you were not my favorite. After a long time, I actually became your girlfriend. I will cherish it, and you should also cherish it, because this is fate. Lin Feng nodded, and passionately kissed Shang Yuna's chest. Soon it was a brace. Lin Feng's body was very strong, and he used a lot of strength against Shang Yuna's delicate body. This conflict is very dangerous, and it almost ruined the love that Lin Feng and Shang Yuna had just started. Now the conflict has disappeared, and Lin Feng and Shang Yuna are more loving than before. Lin Feng tasted the taste of love again. It was different from when he and Shen Bingqian were in love in college. In college years, Lin Feng experienced more romance. When he was intoxicated, he didn't care about anything. He only had Shen Bingqian in his eyes. He thought that Shen Bingqian would never leave him, but later broke up. At that time, Lin Feng thought that it was too conceited for human beings to describe love as rotten seas and rocks. Apart from love itself, human life could not be used to measure the eternity of nature. Now that he is in society, what Lin Feng feels is more warmth. Shang Yuna gave him warmth, making him seem to be under the quilt in the cold winter. Many people around are cold, but he is hot, and so is Shang Yuna. Night. When Lin Feng arrived at the Fengnan fashion store, there were several customers shopping. Xia Kaiki seemed to have nothing happened, and introduced the products to the customers very carefully. Lin Feng glanced at Xia Kaiki's back, and his mood was very complicated. It can be said that he hated Xia Kaiki. Isn't it bad to be an ordinary friend? Too much fun. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 187. Dainan could see Lin Feng's resentment towards Xia Kaiki, but she couldn't explain anything for Xia Kaiki or persuade Lin Feng. Dainan can only talk about herself and decide what she should do. She said, "I am going to move." Lin Feng said that the rent has been rising recently. Where do you want to move? Dainan said that if there is a store on this street, I will definitely not move too far. I guess I will find a house nearby. Lin Feng said, "You don't have to move, I have explained it to Yun Na, and she agreed with you to continue living." Dainan said, "But I really want to change the environment." Lin Feng said, "It doesn't make much sense whether you move or not. If you really want to move, then move." Dainan definitely doesn't want to move. Looking for a new house may raise the rent is only one of the reasons. More importantly, since her parents didn't want her, she has not felt any warmth until she met Lin Feng and had this sincere love. Friends, she felt the warmth again, and she was afraid of losing this warmth. If she is closer to Lin Feng, she will not be cold, otherwise even in the hot summer, she will often feel cold, and that taste will make her suffer, and she does not want to suffer. Dainan said, "I will seriously consider it tonight." Lin Feng lit a cigarette and took a puff before saying that it is best not to move. The three girls just bought something, and the turnover increased by more than 100 yuan. Xia Kaiki walked over with a sense of accomplishment, twisting her buttocks, her eyes flashed, and she smiled. Today's turnover has reached 1,100 yuan. More than 1,200 when it closes, no problem. Dainan was a little excited, but in a bad mood. Her mood didn't look high. Lin Feng's face was gloomy, and she might explode at Xia Kaiki at any time. Xia Kaiki was very sensible and did not continue to praise her merits. She quickly stood aside, humming a song, and her expression was a little indifferent. The Fengnan fashion store closed today, and the turnover really exceeded 1,200 yuan. They walked together on the road, and Dainan walked beside Lin Feng. Xiakaiki walked on Dainan's side. Xiakaiki said coquettishly, "The night scene is really beautiful, but the weather is still a little cold, and after a while, you can wear thin and beautiful clothes." If I heard Xiakaiki say this before, Dainan would soon start joking with her, saying that you can wear it now if you want, even if you are walking on the road in a sack, no one cares about you, at most it is a shooter, the phone is busy. But at this time, I heard Xiakaiki say that. Dainan didn't talk to her, just walked her way. Xiakaiki also knew Dainan's grievances. Because Dainan took the blame for her. Linfeng returned to his master bedroom. When he sat on the sofa and drank coke, Xiakaiki went to Dainan's room and said with guilt, "Dainan, I know you blame me, but it's because we have been friends for many years. You forgive me." Dainan said coldly, "I can forgive you. But do you think Linfeng will forgive you?" Linfeng didn't say anything in the store just now, but I already felt that he wanted to fire you. Xiakaiki was very frightened, and immediately felt dry mouth. She grabbed Dainan's water glass and took a sip, and said in a trembling voice, "That's not it. If Linfeng fires me because of this, it will be a loss for the store. I may be average in doing other things, but I am very good as a shopping guide. You have seen it these days, and he has seen it too." Dainan said, "You think you can do whatever you want because you are very talented in this area, and Linfeng will not fire you just because you are good at selling goods." Xiakaiki grabbed Dainan's hand and said nervously, "I beg you, if Linfeng wants to fire me, you must protect me. I know, you don't want me to go, with me by your side, you will more confident." Dainan thought for a moment, "You are right, with you by my side, I am indeed more confident. When people are selfish, I will try my best to protect you this time, but if I can't protect you in the end, I can't do it either." It took almost 20 minutes to open the document, and I didn't write a single word. Linfeng closed the document and walked out, standing in the corridor and simply listening to it. He was sure that Xiakaiki was in Dainan's partition room. Linfeng knocked on the door, and Xiakaiki's body suddenly trembled. It must be him. Dainan said that it was him, then opened the door, and Linfeng walked in. Although he was upset, his face was still calm. He said, "Xiakaiki, you don't have to work in my shop and Dainan's, I will give you an extra 2,000 yuan, you can find another job, you are very capable, even if you leave this small shop, it is easy to find a job work." Linfeng really wanted to fire her. Xiakaiki couldn't justify herself, only Chao Dainan looked. Dainan said, "Do you still consider me a friend?" Linfeng said, "You must be my friend, and for your friend, I can even turn against my girlfriend." Dainan was very moved, and tears flowed out immediately, still crystal clear, still meandering on her beautiful face. Dainan said, "I beg you, don't fire Kaiki, let her continue working in our shop." This is what Linfeng was afraid of. He had already thought before knocking on the door that Dainan might protect Xiakaiki. As expected, Linfeng smiled helplessly and said, "You make it difficult for me to do this. You are forcing me to make a decision against my will." Dainan said, "For my friend, can I go against my heart once? If it doesn't work, then stop being friends. The big deal is that I will continue to be the lead dancer at the night show. If I make money, I will return your investment to you. The store is my own." It sounds bitter. Dainan even thought of going to the night show again to lead the dance, and finally escape the night show. If the same mistakes are repeated, her heart will be completely gray, and no amount of sunlight can make her shine. Linfeng said, "If I force you to the night show again, then I won't be considered a person. Okay, I will take care of your emotions, and Kaiki will stay." Dainan breathed a sigh of relief. Xiakaiki relaxed even more, and instantly wanted to throw herself into Linfeng's arms, kiss him first and then say, "Linfeng, you are so great." Fortunately, she controlled this urge, otherwise Lin Feng would slap her hard. Accidentally great again. Lin Feng expressed helplessness. Lin Feng's cell phone rang, and seeing that it was from Guan Weidong, he picked it up. Do you want to come to me? Guan Weidong said, is Yun Na by your side? Lin Feng said, no. Guan Weidong said, I will go there now, you wait for me. After dozens of minutes, Guan Weidong arrived, carrying a black suitcase, and walked into the master bedroom. He opened the suitcase and looked at Lin Feng's face. I brought the money Li Jialiang lost to you. Lin Feng found that Guan Weidong's face was pale and his voice was hollow. He said, is your body uncomfortable? Guan Weidong said, nothing. Lin Feng learned from the mysterious express that Guan Weidong had depression. After this incident, I am afraid it is more serious than before. But he can't say it clearly, otherwise the mysterious express will be revealed. It's like he sold the terrifying woman Black Rose. Lin Feng said, if you are not feeling well, go to the hospital for a checkup. I don't know medical skills, but I have practiced Kung Fu for many years, and my eyesight is still good. I really think your face is abnormal. Guan Weidong said, you should let you be angry, I know my body. No big deal. Lin Feng said, the past is over, you don't hate me, and I don't hate you either. If you see it on the road, if you want to say hello, you can call one, and if you don't want to, just pretend that you don't know anyone. Guan Weidong nodded and walked out. Now Lin Feng can be sure that Guan Weidong will not be trying to fix him, because Guan Weidong can't even care about himself. Although Guan Weidong said that his body is fine, he may be hospitalized after a while. Let go of personal grudges. Lin Feng also admitted that Guan Weidong is a good policeman. Guan Weidong's heart is just, and he has a kind of positive energy, so Lin Feng doesn't want him to have a big incident. Xia Kaiki was very curious and wanted to know why Guan Weidong was looking for Lin Feng. She knew that Guan Weidong had left and wanted to go to Lin Feng's room to have a look, but Dainan wouldn't let her go. The accident just caused Dainan to take the blame. This time Xia Kaiki listened to Dainan's advice and did not just go to Lin Feng's room. At the same time, she was also worried that Lin Feng would slap her in the face as soon as she entered. Morning. When Lin Feng arrived at the Jinwu Center, he brought 100,000 yuan with him, but Li Xingguo insisted not to. He also said that if you insist on giving me this money, then I will keep the money, and friends will not do it. Lin Feng said, this is money, I sent it, if you don't want it, that's your business, if you don't want me, I want it. Li Xingguo said with a smile, it was originally your money. My 100,000 yuan has been lost to Li Jialiang. You won the 200,000 yuan. Oh, with these 200,000 yuan, you have 100 yuan in your hand, Wan? Lin Feng said, it is not enough, it is still 180,000. Li Xingguo said, or I will give you another 80,000 yuan to make up 1,000,000. Lin Feng said with a smile, don't talk nonsense, I will earn it myself, what's the matter with you giving me the money? Lin Feng planned to chat with Chang Yaxing for a while. He walked towards the front desk, and seeing Lin Feng from a distance, Chang Yaxing showed a bright smile. Lin Feng walked to the edge of the front desk, put on a dashing posture and helped it to the front desk, smiled at Chang Yaxing's beautiful and clean face, and said with a smile, how are you feeling recently? Chang Yaxing said, I have already adapted to this job. For me, the treatment has been very good, and I will continue to do it for a long time. Lin Feng said, that's fine, by the way, how is your brother? Chang Yaxing said that Yakang studied very hard. Last time, he was the first in the whole grade in the final exam. I was very happy. Lin Feng said that he will definitely be admitted to the best university in China in the future, and at that time your good sister will be even more proud. Chang Yaxing was already in a good mood, but after hearing what Lin Feng said just now, she was in a better mood, and said sweetly, Lin Feng, you know? I always thought that my good luck was brought to me by you. My lord. Lin Feng said that when people are transported, there should be a saying in your hometown as well, right? You're in luck, this has nothing to do with me. Chang Yaxing still believed that it wasn't her own good luck, but Lin Feng who brought her good luck. She said, I want to go to your place when I have time, and I really want to see you write novels. What Lin Feng was afraid of was that others would be watching him code, and his current girlfriend Shang Yuna was a very jealous woman, so he didn't want Chang Yaxing to find him. But if he refused, Chang Yaxing might feel uncomfortable, thinking that he looked down on her. Lin Feng said, okay, when you have time, go to me, I will invite you to dinner. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 188. Lin Feng and Li Xingguo had lunch together, drank a lot of wine, walked out of the Jinwu Center, and the cool wind was blowing. Lin Feng was very relieved, because the village girl Chang Yaxing's life was getting better and better, and she was forced to sell it before. Chu, now she will cherish her beginning. Lin Feng returned to the master bedroom, fell on the bed, and soon fell asleep. He woke up after the phone rang twice in a row. When he saw the call, he laughed. It was the call from the northeastern man Li Jieliang. Although Li Jieliang lost to him, in Lin Feng's heart, Li Jieliang was definitely a fierce man. Lin Feng picked it up and said with a smile, how is your injury? Li Jieliang said that the nose is still wrapped in gauze, and it will not be better for a while, but it is nothing serious. I have come out of the hospital and I plan to play with you. Are you welcome? Lin Feng said, definitely welcome, you come. Li Jieliang arrived at Lin Feng's master bedroom, looked left and right, sat on the sofa and handed Lin Feng a cigarette. I didn't expect you to be such an internet writer, especially your leg skills, it's amazing. Lin Feng said, I didn't seem to use my legs very much when we were fighting. Li Jieliang said, you didn't use your legs very much, otherwise I wouldn't have died in your hands. I can tell from the few times you simply used your legs that your leg work is very powerful. What kind of legs are those? Lin Feng said, dragon and snake legs. Li Jieliang was extremely shocked. It turned out to be the legendary dragon and snake legs. He looked very excited. I didn't expect that the fierce kung fu of the dragon and snake legs would have a successor. I lost to you. I am convinced, let's be friends. Lin Feng said, don't you want to worship me as your master? Li Jieliang said. No, I am so old. I already have children. Even if you accept me as an apprentice, I will not learn how to become a dragon or snake. I just admire you, so I want to be your friend. Lin Feng said, it's a great deal. Li Jieliang also said that it's rude. Li Jieliang wants to go to the Badaling Great Wall, Lin Feng said. Go tomorrow, it's a little late today. Li Jieliang said, I want to leave tomorrow, I don't have time, it doesn't matter if I'm late, you can walk with me, and you can't say that the Great Wall is not a hero. When I come to Beijing, I will definitely go up and go around. Lin Feng said, let's take a taxi. He and Li Jieliang went out together, stopped a taxi, and drove in the direction of Badaling. Lin Feng has a few friends in Beijing. If he wants to call a car, there is no problem at all, Mercedes-Benz off-road vehicles can be called over. But he felt that it was his and Li Jieliang's business to accompany Li Jieliang to Badaling, and it was inconvenient to trouble others. Taking a taxi in the past, I feel more comfortable. Smooth all the way. In more than 10 minutes, we will arrive at the Badaling Great Wall. Li Jieliang took out his SLR camera from his satchel, and said with a smile, I will take a few pictures when I arrive, and I will not know when I will come next time. Lin Feng said that your nose is still wrapped in gauze, So don't take pictures, otherwise people will ask you when they see the pictures. Li Jieliang said that it was because my nose was covered with gauze that I wanted to take pictures more. Whether it was when I was in the police academy or later became a criminal police officer, I have never been beaten so badly. I was injured, and I just left it as a souvenir. When someone sees the photo and asks me, how did your injury come about, I will say it was hit by a top expert. Lin Feng said with a smile, are you not afraid of shame? Li Jieliang said, it's not a shame to lose to a master like you. If anyone dares to ridicule me, I'll beat him up. If I can't even beat me, I'll be ridiculed. That's looking for a fight. Lin Feng feels more and more that Li Jieliang is a man, very bold and frank. As for Li Jieliang's behavior of running from the northeast to Beijing to do private affairs for Guan Weidong, it may be for friendship or for face. It is estimated that it may be more for face, right? This Lin Feng does not want to comment too much, nor will he have any opinion on Li Jieliang. The Badaling Great Wall has arrived. Li Jieliang stared at the words "not a hero" on the Great Wall for almost 2 minutes, and then looked at Lin Feng's face. Brother, am I a hero? Lin Feng said, you must be a good man. Li Jieliang patted Lin Feng on the shoulder and said with a smile, you are also a hero, let's take a photo together. Lin Feng has no opinion. Li Jieliang handed the SLR camera to a passing little beauty and said with a smile, sister, take a good picture of the two of us. The little beauty was very enthusiastic and began to take pictures of Lin Feng and Li Jieliang. Li Jieliang hugged Lin Feng's shoulders enthusiastically. Lin Feng's expression gradually changed from being restrained to calm. The little beauty took 6 pictures in a row and said with a smile, you can learn from choose 2 that you are satisfied with. By the way, big brother, you are very cool. Li Jieliang was instantly cooler than before, and made a friendly gesture to the little beauty. The little beauty returned a gesture, and then walked away with hot steps. Lin Feng said, let's go in. If we want to climb the Great Wall, we have to go in quickly, or it will be too late today. Li Jieliang was reluctant to say that he was not a hero if he didn't have the Great Wall, and said, Lin Feng, come and help me take 2 orders. Lin Feng said, no problem, he is not very good at using SLR cameras. He has only used it twice before, and it is not the same brand, but Lin Feng just saw clearly how the little beauty did it, and he can basically handle it. Lin Feng took 2 singles for Li Jieliang and said with a smile that the photos I took were not very technical. Li Jieliang said, as long as I can clearly capture my injured nose and the words "not a hero" in the Great Wall, the technical content is very high. Do you want to come for 2 orders? Lin Feng said, I will not shoot for now, and I will wait until the Great Wall to shoot. Finally started to climb the Great Wall, many tourists began to walk down, but Lin Feng and Li Jieliang began to climb up. Both of them have good physical fitness and fast footsteps. The higher the climb, the steeper it becomes. There are many souvenir sellers on both sides, basically one is more than 20 meters away. Li Jieliang has already spent hundreds of dollars, and Lin Feng has not spent a cent. Li Jieliang kept asking Lin Feng to take pictures of him. He was in a very good mood. He had obviously forgotten his injuries. He was simply an unrestrained optimist. Lin Feng and Li Jieliang finally stopped and sat down to enjoy the scenery and chat. Li Jieliang said, it's really cool. The Great Wall is a good place. When I was climbing up, all I thought of were ancient battlefields. If I was born in ancient times, I would have to rely on my ability to make achievements. Lin Feng said that if you are born in the modern age, you can also rely on your ability to make achievements, and there are opportunities. Li Jieliang said that there are many opportunities, but to seize the opportunity requires means, and sometimes I am too upright. Lin Feng said that being able to bend and stretch is a true hero, even in ancient times, too upright and easy to break, too weak and easy to be unable to straighten up. Compared with modern times, Ancient times have no advantages at all. Li Jieliang was silent for a moment and said, Lin Feng, you are not simple, you are both civil and military, and your survival ability is very strong. You are a small grass now, and you will definitely become a towering tree in the future. Lin Feng said that the grass has the success of the grass, the tree has the success of the tree, the grass has the happiness of the grass, and the tree has the happiness of the tree. Li Jieliang said that the small grass has the troubles of the small grass, and the big tree has the trouble of the big tree. Lin Feng laughed. Li Jieliang also laughed. After a fight, and then sitting on the Great Wall to chat, only to find out that the two of them could pee into a pot. Li Jieliang said, I can't bear to leave soon, I really want to play with you for a few more days. Lin Feng said, no problem, you don't need to stay in a hotel, you and I will live in the master bedroom and play for 10 days and 8 days before leaving. Li Jieliang sighed and said, I think, but I still have work when I go back. In fact, I shouldn't have come, but I came anyway. I didn't come here for friendship, but to take a bet. When I was in the police academy, he taunted me many times. The most popular is Guan Weidong. He was so beautiful at the time, he had a background, and he performed well. Many people were circling him. I couldn't do it. My family was poor, and I didn't even have money for food, and other expenses were even more pitiful. Even if I am good at fighting, in the eyes of the people around me, I am just a poor guy. But after graduation, I am much better. At least I have a job. The profession I like, I can earn money to support myself. Now I have a wife and children. I am very content. Guan Weidong finally asked me. I have to show him. I can let him see, because I came all the way, and I just gave you a beating. Lin Feng said, if we chatted before the fight, I would let you beat me up, and it would be fine to lose money. Li Jieliang said, it's iron enough, but we can't be fake. Lin Feng said, it is not false. Li Jieliang asked Lin Feng something, and Lin Feng simply said that it was nothing more than what he had learned when he practiced Kung Fu, and why he didn't rely on a major to eat after graduating from college. Lin Feng already had a lot of experience in answering these questions. It's the same thing I've told others before. After getting off the Great Wall and leaving Badaling, Lin Feng and Li Jieliang took a taxi back. Lin Feng planned to let Li Jieliang sleep in his room tonight, and then take Li Jieliang to take the train tomorrow morning. The dinner was invited by Lin Feng, and he ate at a restaurant near the community where he lived. After drinking a lot of wine, Lin Feng's steps were unsteady when he walked out of the restaurant, but Li Jieliang had no problem at all. Lin Feng said, your drink is too much, I can't drink two of you. Li Jieliang said, compared with Kung Fu, I am not as good as one of you, but compared with the amount of alcohol, I have a sense of superiority. When I was young, one of my cousins was a winemaker. How old are I? When I went to his place, he poured wine for me to drink. Later, I became more and more able to drink it. I was happy to drink it. Lin Feng said, massive. In the past, Lin Feng would be drowsy after drinking, let alone code words, he didn't even have the spirit to browse the web, but this time it was different, inspiration surged, and the plot emerged. When I came out, I felt uncomfortable. Lin Feng said, you watch TV, and I code. Li Jieliang said, can I read your code? Although I am not in your business, I also know that if someone is looking at you, you may not be able to figure it out. Lin Feng said, I don't like to be watched by others when I code, but you are an exception, you can code it when you look at me. Li Jieliang said, then I looked at your code, just to appreciate your writing and thinking. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 189. Lin Feng started typing on the keyboard, and the green axis mechanical keyboard made a pleasant sound again. No matter whether others sounded noisy or not, Lin Feng always sounded pleasant. Li Jialiang said, "Your writing is very good, your ideas are clear, and what you write is simple and comfortable." Lin Feng said, "This is also a style of mine, and now many people recognize it." Li Jialiang said, "You will definitely get better the more you mix." After more than an hour, Lin Feng typed out more than 4,000 words. Seeing that he had stopped, Li Jialiang said, "Continue." Lin Feng said, "Take a break with a cigarette." Li Jialiang said, "You just put out a cigarette." Lin Feng said, "Smoke another one." He took out a pack of Cordyceps sinensis and said with a smile, "I definitely didn't buy such a good cigarette myself, but a gift from a friend. Let's share it together." Li Jialiang's eyes widened immediately. He didn't expect Lin Feng to have such a good cigarette in his hand. He smiled and said, "I have never smoked Cordyceps before, I have only seen and heard it, but I have never known what it smells like." He smoked Cordyceps sinensis and tasted the real tobacco taste. Li Jialiang said that this time he came to Beijing, and it was not in vain. It was a small thing to be beaten up, but it was a big thing to make a real friend. Lin Feng said, "It is my honor to be your friend." Li Jialiang said, "I'm embarrassed by what you said." Lin Feng said, "I want to ask you a question. You are a criminal policeman, and your ability to detect cases is not weak. I want you to help me analyze an incident that happened to me." Li Jialiang is a very curious person. Hearing what Lin Feng said, his curiosity suddenly surged, and he asked in confusion, "What's the matter?" Lin Feng told Yang Chunbeixiu and his story. Li Jialiang was very surprised. After a while, he said with a smile, "It's very outrageous and very romantic. Yang Chunbeixiu must have fallen in love with you. Although she doesn't chat with you online now, she has always been following you." Lin Feng said, "I told you just now, I think Yang Chunbeixiu may be Su Qingyuan. Maybe leaves too, who do you think?" Li Jialiang said, "You give me 10 minutes. Lin Feng hummed and began to keep quiet. 5 minutes passed, and Li Jialiang was thinking. 10 minutes passed, and Li Jialiang was still thinking. Lin Feng said, "10 minutes have come." Li Jialiang said, "I'm afraid you have to give me 10 minutes, I haven't figured it out yet." Another 10 minutes passed. Lin Feng said with a smile, "This question is indeed quite strange, have you come up with a reason?" Li Jialiang said, "Do you think it's one of them? Could it be a third person?" Lin Feng said, "For so long, I spend a certain amount of time almost every day to think about this issue. I have excluded everyone who should be excluded. If Yang Chunbeixiu is really someone I know, it could only be one of the two of them." Li Jialiang said, "Since you only asked me to analyze which of the two of them is Yang Chunbeixiu, I can only analyze from the two of them. It should be Su Qingyuan. In order to make Zhao Heidao suffer, she made you bear the blame. It is not ruled out that she will give you a high reward in order to make up for you. You made money and made your book popular, so she won't feel too bad. When the truth is revealed in the future, it is estimated that you are a great god, and she will have the capital to praise you." Lin Feng said, "In fact, I think so too. We thought of going together on this matter, but in my fantasy, I hope that the white snow in the spring is leaves." Li Jialiang said, "Because you fantasize about having something ambiguous with the rich lady Ye." Lin Feng said that although Ye and I are people from two different worlds, I really wanted to play with her before, I even thought about sleeping with Ye, but now I have a girlfriend, and she is the most beautiful girl in Beijing Normal University. Beautiful female teacher, I am very satisfied." Li Jialiang said, "If I were you, I would have imagined the same thing. The matter between you and Su Qingyuan can't be solved by phone or online chat. You'd better go to Taiyuan, Jin province. Of course, you have such a good girlfriend, cherishing is inevitable, you'd better communicate with her before you go, and don't make any misunderstandings. Lin Feng said, when I have enough manuscripts, it will be over in time. My friend Zhao Heidao and I for many years should not be ruined because of this. Li Jialiang said, you are right, a man has to have friends, and if he has a girlfriend or wife, he will be lonely. Morning. Li Jialiang was about to leave, and Lin Feng gave him a friendly hug, and then packed a few good boxes of cigarettes for him. Lin Feng sent Li Jialiang to Beijing Station. He took the train and left. Before getting on the train, he reminded Lin Feng several times that he would keep in touch with him in the future. When he had time, he would go to Wandashan to play and have a drink together. Lin Feng said that he would keep in touch, and he would definitely go when he has time in the future, maybe alone or with his girlfriend. When Lin Feng arrived at Fengnan Fashion Store, it was almost noon. Dainan went to eat, and Xiakaiki was alone in the store. Seeing Lin Feng coming in, Xiakaiki showed a bright smile, and those very divine eyes began to release radio waves again. Send away that friend you didn't know, I think you're still a little sad, you and him don't you want to play back, right? Lin Feng said coldly, backing your sister, why did the words change in your mouth? She wanted to make a joke, but she was scolded by Lin Feng. Xiakaiki stuck out her tongue and stood far away from Lin Feng, looking very aggrieved. Lin Feng sat on the chair next to the cashier, and when he lit a cigarette, he found that Xiakaiki seemed to be crying. He said in his heart, I'm crying about your sister. What you did in the past almost broke up with Shangyuna. I didn't beat you, it's already considered cheap for you. But Xiakaiki was wronged because she fell in love with Lin Feng, but her love was not reciprocated. Dainan brought back a rice bowl for Xiakaiki. Seeing her crying, he asked curiously, what's wrong with you? Why did you stand outside and cry? Who bullied you? Xiakaiki said that no one bullied me, and there was sand in her eyes, so she shed tears. Dainan walked in and saw Lin Feng, wondering, Lin Feng, have you scolded Kaiki? Lin Feng didn't say anything. Xiakaiki quickly explained that he was scolding me because I owed it. Even Xiakaiki said that she was scolded. It is estimated that she is very scolded, but Dainan did not attack Lin Feng for her. Smile and say, eat quickly. Xiakaiki sat down at the cashier and ate rice bowls, drinking the cool white cabbage brought over in the morning, and Lin Feng stepped aside. A customer came in. It was a slightly fat girl with a normal appearance and not very good figure, but her were particularly large. Be careful when walking beside her. Otherwise it is easy to be touched by her towering breasts. Lin Feng likes women's breasts, even if they are not very beautiful women's breasts, he likes them, but Lin Feng doesn't want to touch the of the girl in front of him, because this is his customer. Under the recommendation of Lin Feng, the girl bought a pair of silver earrings and spent more than 50 yuan. Xiakaiki laughed and said, Dainan. You see, Boss Lin can also sell things. Dainan said softly, I told you before, Lin Feng is a versatile, very powerful, not only can write novels and beat people, including the goods in our store, it is also according to his meaning. Lin Feng also smiled, and the atmosphere was much more harmonious. He knew very well that even if he didn't recommend it just now, that girl would definitely buy a pair of silver earrings. Because the girl's desire to consume is very strong, which can be seen from the footsteps she walks in. She won't go out without spending money. So far, the store's turnover has exceeded 300 today. Dainan said, Lin Feng, why don't you go back and rest for a while to code? Li Jialiang slept in your room last night, and I guess you didn't code much. Last night, I only coded more than 4,000. Later, I stopped to rest and chatted with Li Jialiang about who is Yang Chun Bigsu. Once we started chatting, I was not in the mood to code, and we talked until very late. According to the scope he provided, Li Jialiang's analysis results were consistent with his imagination, and it was estimated that it would be Su Qingyuan. Lin Feng now has more and more complicated feelings about Su Qingyuan, the beautiful daughter of the coal boss. Su Qingyuan used to be Zhao Heidao's girlfriend. Even if they broke up, Lin Feng would never dream that something bad would happen between him and Su Qingyuan. She had never been to her before, but she said that she had, and now she gave him a high reward. Lin Feng would rather he didn't get so many unexpected benefits, and that his book wasn't as popular as it is now, and he didn't want to take such a scapegoat. If Su Qingyuan is the spring and snow, Lin Feng's resentment towards her is still greater than his gratitude. It was after 1 o'clock in the afternoon when he returned to the master bedroom. Lin Feng sat on the sofa and pondered for a while, and then called Su Qingyuan. He didn't know what Su Qingyuan was doing at this point, because he didn't understand her routine. Su Qingyuan picked it up, first let out a sweet laugh, and then said, "Lin Feng, it's you, why are you calling me? When I was at your house, you me several times, but you haven't gotten hooked yet. Do you want to me again?" Lin Feng said, "Do you have a paranoia, this rich lady, I have never touched your body once, why do you keep saying that I have you, and even said that I have you several times?" Su Qingyuan said, "You were already on me, otherwise, would it be interesting for me to falsely accuse you?" Lin Feng was about to faint with anger. He didn't know how to say the words he had planned. He held back for a long time before he said it. "Don't think that I don't know that you are Yang Chunbeixiu. Do you think that if you support me like this, I will forgive you? Compared to the friendship between me and Zhao Heidao, the rewards you gave me are nothing." Su Qingyuan said, "You crazy, you smelly trigger, your mother is the bright spring." Lin Feng wanted to scold back a few words, but Su Qingyuan hung up the phone, and Lin Feng, who was furious, called several times in a row and let her hang up. "What a fuck? What should we do?" Lin Feng was in a hurry and turned around on the ground for more than 10 times in a row, and then collapsed on the sofa. Although Su Qingyuan was sharp just now, Lin Feng still thinks that she is very likely to be a bright spring. It seems that he will have to go to Taiyuan in Jin province after a while. He doesn't know what will happen when he arrives there. He must have enough manuscripts to save. Lin Feng slept for almost 2 hours, got up, washed his face, and then opened the page. Today's reward of 100,000 reading coins for Yang Chunbeixiu was delivered after he and Su Qingyuan had just quarreled for 5 minutes. Lin Feng was even more suspicious that Su Qingyuan was Yang Chunbeixiu. After arguing just now and still in the mood to give him a reward, Su Qingyuan is no longer an ordinary person, or in other words, she is not an ordinary person because she has an old man who runs a coal mine. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 190. I have to say that Lin Feng's mood was affected. It was not very smooth when he started coding. Fortunately, the plot was well conceived. I wanted to write it last night, but I didn't stop the car when I chatted with Li Jialiang, so I can only postpone it until now. Wrote. Maybe it was because his mood was affected. Even pressing his fingers on the keyboard felt a little awkward and slippery. Lin Feng spat on his hand and wiped it, and it seemed to feel a little better. But the speed was still not fast. Almost 3 hours later, after writing less than 6,000 words, Lin Feng stopped, turned off the computer, lay down on the sofa, lit a cigarette and kept blowing smoke against the ceiling. Maybe Yang Chunbeixiu is not Su Qingyuan at all, maybe what he just did was absurd. Hearing the knock on the door, Lin Feng walked over to open the door, and his girlfriend Shang Yuna came over. A beautiful face, a sweet smile, a graceful body, and an elegant dress are all pleasing to the eye no matter how you look at it. His heart fluttered, and his body straightened. Lin Feng took her hand, and with a gentle tug, she walked into the room, put her arms around her neck and kissed his face, and said softly, "Dear, why don't you spell it? I used to ask you this question, I'm all beating on the keyboard like crazy, I've become your woman, you can't be lazy, you have to work hard to make money so that I can live a good life." Lin Feng gently kneaded Shang Yuna's chest and said with a smile, "I've been typing, and you came right after I stopped." Shang Yuna wondered, "Is it true?" Lin Feng said, "It must be true." Shang Yuna believed it. After sitting on the sofa, she smiled more charmingly than before. "Husband. I don't know why, but I am particularly interested in that today." Lin Feng said. "Then I'll make you comfortable." Lin Feng overwhelmed Shang Yuna on the sofa. The sofa was very narrow. Even though her graceful body was pressed by Lin Feng, Shang Yuna had to keep her balance. She didn't want to roll to the ground with Lin Feng. This kind of thing is more exciting, but she doesn't want to do it on the ground, worried that it will stain her body. Surging enthusiasm. Lin Feng worked hard. Shang Yuna is very comfortable. What made Lin Feng feel a little guilty was that he also thought of Shang Yunjuan when the monk Yuna did that. Shang Yunjuan and Shang Yuna have different statures and feel different when they do it. They are both comfortable but different. They are all very good and cool, but Lin Feng has not done it with Shang Yunjuan for a while. Maybe Shang Yunjuan has been thinking about it, but Lin Feng will not do it with her in the future. Via last chat, Lin Feng felt that Shang Yunjuan might find a man to marry and start her second marriage, but there is no sign of that yet. I don't know if Shang Yunjuan will have a second husband in the days to come. After enjoying it, Shang Yuna took a long breath. This calmed down. I want to go out for a walk at night. Lin Feng said, "Wherever you want to go, I will accompany you, even if you want to go to the sky and embrace the bright moon, I will accompany you." Shang Yuna was very moved. He stroked Lin Feng's chest and said, "You are so kind to me, you have to be so kind to me all the time. In your heart, I must be the most important. If my interests conflict with the interests of friends around you, you must protect my interests. The reason is simple, they are just your friends. I am your woman." Makes sense. Also very unreasonable. For most men, if the interests of a girlfriend conflict with the interests of other friends, it must be to protect the interests of the girlfriend. Lin Feng will naturally safeguard the interests of his girlfriend, but he will not ignore the friends around him for this. He has always believed that a man needs not only love, but also friendship. Shang Yuna said, "You can play with me at the World Trade Fair at night, I haven't been there for a long time." Lin Feng said, "No problem." Soon I talked about Li Jialiang, a man from the northeast. Shang Yuna didn't expect that Lin Feng and Li Jialiang would really become friends, and she didn't expect that Li Jialiang would be frank to that level. His nose was wrapped in gauze, and he dared to take pictures at the Badaling Great Wall, without fear of others saying that this person is very real. If you don't go to the Great Wall, you are not a hero. Lin Feng is a hero, and Li Jialiang is also a hero. They went to the Great Wall together and took a group photo. Shang Yuna said, "If you have time in the future, will you really go to Wanda Mountain?" Lin Feng said that he would go there, and Li Jialiang was the tour guide when he got there. Shang Yuna said that Li Jialiang does not work in his hometown either. When you have time, he may not have time. Lin Feng said, "Whenever I take you, he will have time." Shang Yuna was very excited and wanted to go in an instant, but that was impossible. Due to the limitation of time, space, and ability, people couldn't do whatever they wanted. After having dinner at a nearby restaurant, Lin Feng planned to take a taxi directly to the World Trade Center, but Shang Yuna said, "First go to your and Dinan's small shop to have a look, and then take a taxi from there." Lin Feng was very aware of Shang Yuna's intentions, it was nothing more than wanting to show her affection in front of Dainan and Xiakaiki, but he had to cooperate, otherwise Shang Yuna might lose her temper. Because such a trivial matter is not worth making a fuss about, Lin Feng and Shang Yuna went to the store together. Dainan was sitting at the cashier, reading a novel on his mobile phone. He was reading the novel that Lin Feng was updating now. There were two customers, and Xiakaiki was following. They introduce products around them. Carrying Lin Feng's arm, Shang Yuna is very elegant and proud, showing her temperament to the fullest. Dainan closed the novel page on his mobile phone and said with a smile, "You guys are here. Oh, Yun Na, you are so beautiful today. Where did you buy this outfit from?" Shang Yuna didn't look directly at Dainan, and said casually that it cost thousands of dollars to buy it from Quivai Commercial Building. Dainan said, "Yun Na, you have a beautiful face, a good figure, and a good temperament. You look good in any kind of clothes." Shang Yuna didn't answer, she was more arrogant than before, and hugged Lin Feng even tighter. The two customers left without buying anything. They were busy for nearly 10 minutes just now, and nothing was sold. Xiakaiki felt a little uncomfortable. Seeing Lin Feng and Shang Yuna being affectionate, she felt even more uncomfortable. Xiakaiki even wanted to say, "Shang Yuna, if you hadn't followed Lin Feng, maybe I'd have sold the stuff. It's you who brought bad luck to the store, what are you?" But Shang Yuna is Lin Feng's girlfriend, and Lin Feng is also by her side. She can't lose her temper casually, otherwise Lin Feng may really fire her. Shang Yuna noticed Xiakaiki's coldness and said to herself, "You are nothing but a small shopping guide. You also slap me in the face." Seeing that Shang Yuna wanted to find fault and quarrel with Xiakaiki, Lin Feng walked out with her arms around her, and said with a smile, "It's time for us to go to the world at an exorbitant price." Shang Yuna hummed, "You must be the one who scolded Xiakaiki, that's why you came out in a hurry." Lin Feng said, "I didn't see that you wanted to scold her. You are the most beautiful female teacher at Beijing Normal University. With a diploma and culture, you will definitely not quarrel with a small shopping guide like Xiakaiki casually." Shang Yuna was a little out of temper, she knew that Lin Feng said this to calm her down. A taxi came, Lin Feng and Shang Yuna sat on it. Lin Feng said, "Go to the world of trade." Taxi speeding down the asphalt road. Shang Yuna thought of what Lin Feng had said to her before. Lin Feng said that he wanted to buy an off-road vehicle of 300,000 to 400,000 yuan, and he didn't know when he would buy it. Shang Yuna said, "Husband, when will you buy a car?" Lin Feng said, "Maybe next year." Shang Yuna said, "Buy it this year. You take a test first, and then buy a car." Lin Feng said that this year is not enough, and the time is a bit unfortunate, but next year will be almost the same. The World Trade Center has arrived. Everywhere is full of richness, very open and romantic. Many couples were walking, many couples came to play with their children, and a couple led their children past Lin Feng and Shang Yuna. The little boy was very cute and smiled at Shang Yuna. Shang Yuna herself, a person who likes children very much, also smiled at the little boy. Lin Feng said, "Yun Na, do you like boys or girls?" Shang Yuna said, "It's all the same, the little boy is cute, and the little girl is also very cute, how about you? I guess you want me to give birth to a son for you." Lin Feng's parents must have wanted to have a big grandson, but Lin Feng has no prejudice against boys and girls. He said, "I am happy if you give me a son or a daughter. It is better to have both children, and a child is too lonely." Shang Yuna snuggled into Lin Feng's arms, and said with a charming smile, "Her ambition is not small, she has not yet married me, she has even thought about this." Lin Feng said, "If you want to give birth to me, before we get married, we will have a child, so that when we get married, the child will be 2 or 3 years old, and we can sit down and have a banquet." Shang Yuna laughed, and soon burst into tears. She beat Lin Feng's arm and said, "Aren't you too talented, you bastard, let our children attend our wedding." Lin Feng said, "Can't you?" Shang Yuna said, "Definitely not, without that certificate, I will not give you a child. If I do, you don't want me, I will lead the child to jump into the river." But it was just a joke topic, but it made the atmosphere more romantic. At the World Trade Center, Lin Feng felt a good feeling, and Shang Yuna also felt a good feeling. Love is really sweet, and Shang Yuna deeply felt it. In the past, Lin Feng deeply felt the sweetness of love. In college, when he and Shen Bingqian were in love, they were very sweet most of the time, but it was a bit too hurtful to break up later. Lin Feng doesn't know how far he and Shang Yuna can go, but I hope they can get to the wedding day. Now that he's here, it's not right to just go shopping instead of shopping. After getting better, Lin Feng hasn't bought anything valuable for Shang Yuna, so he plans to show it this evening. Lin Feng said, "There is an Omega store over there, come and take a look." Shang Yuna said, "No, you want to buy me a world-famous watch." Lin Feng said, "Don't you like it?" Shang Yuna said, "Of course I like it, but it is very expensive, especially the Constellation series, which are very expensive watches." Lin Feng said, "If you like that one, I will buy it for you." Shang Yuna was very happy. She also wanted to wear the famous watch sent by Lin Feng on her wrist, took Lin Feng's hand, and walked towards the Omega store together with graceful steps. Walking into the jeweled store, Shang Yuna quipped, "How does this store compare to yours and Dainan's?" Lin Feng said, "There is no comparison, what is sold here is luxury goods, and Dainan's small shop sells small commodities." Lin Feng was quickly stunned, not seeing a watch that was too expensive for him to accept, but seeing leaves and red shadows. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 191. The leaves are still so delicate and elegant. Hong Ying is still so fascinated and unrestrained. Just now, Ye seemed to be choosing a watch, maybe it was for himself, or it may be to give it to someone. At this time, Ye had already seen Lin Feng and Shang Yuna. His eyes stayed on Lin Feng's face for a moment and then looked at the watch cabinet. Lin Feng was a little embarrassed. Now that he planned to go over to say hello, but when he took a step, Shang Yuna grabbed his hand and whispered, "Lin Feng, don't go over, Ye didn't bother to pay attention to us." Lin Feng said with a smile, "I'll go over." Shang Yuna didn't pull Lin Feng hard. To be honest, Shang Yuna was quite unconvinced in front of Ye. In terms of appearance, she was no different from Ye. In terms of temperament, she couldn't compare with Ye. Her temperament very good, but in front of Ye, I can only score 60 points. If it is about wealth and status, Shang Yuna and Ye are undoubtedly people from two different worlds. Ye is worth several billions and lives the life of a rich lady. Shang Yuna is worth millions even if not counting real estate, not at all, living an ordinary life. Seeing Lin Feng coming over, Ye holding an Olympic commemorative watch in his hand looked at him with a smile. His eyes were arrogant, but the voice from his red lips was sweet. "What a coincidence, I met him here." Lin Feng said, "I want to buy a watch for my girlfriend and take her to see it. I didn't expect to meet you here." Only then did Ye understand that Shang Yuna was already Lin Feng's girlfriend. She glanced at Shang Yuna, and then looked at Lin Feng's face. "Yes, you have finally conquered the beautiful teacher Shang Yuna. I wish you all the best. Too sweet and sweet for a long time." Lin Feng said, "Thank you." Ye has no desire to chat with Lin Feng anymore. While looking at the watch in his hand, he said to Hong Ying, "Why don't you give this one?" Hong Ying said, "This piece is good." Lin Feng walked away. Hong Ying had been very cold and arrogant just now, but what flashed in his mind was the scene of her and Lin Feng in the ring. Lin Feng slapped her on the face in the ring, and hugged her to dance the Spanish bullfight. The time she was slapped, she bled. During the Spanish bullfight, she was at a loss. Twice, she let Lin Feng humiliate her, and she still hasn't found her way back to now. Some time ago, Hong Ying also said to Ye Zi that he would be angry when he thinks of that Lin Feng, and when there is a chance in the future, I will definitely repair him. Leaf said at the time. What do you always think about fixing him? He's just a lowercase writer, and fixing him doesn't make any sense at all. Hong Ying said, but that lowercase lucky person has a lot of skills. Yeah said, if you don't think about it, you won't be angry. If you always think that way, you might even be repaired by him. Lin Feng walked to Shang Yuna's side. Shang Yuna was a little unhappy, but Ye and Hong Ying hadn't gone out yet, so she didn't show anything for the time being. Shang Yuna's heart. Ye Zi is a person who can't afford to offended Ye Zi. There may be no peace, and it will be terrifying. Ye Zi spent more than 100,000 by credit card, and bought the Omega automatic mechanical watch of the Olympic commemorative edition, with timing function, dual date display, 18K rose gold, very beautiful and rich. Ye Zi and Hong Ying left the Omega store. Shang Yuna took Lin Feng's hand and walked towards the counter over there. Looking at it in the past, it was all styles that cost more than 100,000 yuan. For the time being, regardless of whether Lin Feng was generous enough to spend for her, Shang Yuna felt that it was too expensive. If she bought such an expensive watch, wouldn't she be a loser? Not a very rich person. Lin Feng and Shang Yuna soon came to the Constellation series counter. The Omegas of the Constellation series range from more than 20,000 yuan to more than 100,000 yuan. The styles are very beautiful and noble. Any of them can make Shang Yuna very satisfied, and now the consideration is what price to buy. Shang Yuna said with a charming smile, "Husband, how much are you going to spend for me?" Lin Feng said, "What do you think of this one with more than 50,000 yuan?" Shang Yuna thought that Lin Feng would buy the watch that cost more than 20,000 yuan for her. She was already thinking about what this watch would look like if she wore it on her wrist, but she didn't expect that Lin Feng wanted to buy a watch that cost more than 50,000 yuan. Give her. She said it was too expensive. Lin Feng said that it is not expensive. A fully automatic mechanical watch with a top-level movement can serve the owner for decades or even hundreds of years. On average, the annual cost is very small. Shang Yuna said, "There is no such thing as you." Lin Feng said, "But this watch is so durable." Lin Feng asked a very good-looking woman to take out the 50,000 odd Omega women's watch, and Shang Yuna found it very suitable after trying it on. Immediately she fell in love. She blushed and said, "Lin Feng, do you really want to buy this? I still find it too expensive." Lin Feng said that this is what he wants. The new watch was quickly brought out. After Lin Feng paid, he cut off the bracelet and walked out of the store. More than 50,000 Omega Constellation women's watches were put on Shang Yuna's jade wrist. Sophisticated. Simply a wonderful treat. Lin Feng said that this fully automatic mechanical watch does not need to be specially wound, and can be worn for more than 8 hours a day, and enough exercise can accumulate enough energy. Shang Yuna said, "Just walk and shake your arms every day. You finally bought me such a good watch, and I will wear it in the future." Sitting on the bench of the World Trade Center to enjoy the scenery, Lin Feng once again experienced the prosperity of this international metropolis. As long as you have money, you can be happy. The enjoyment brought by consumption cannot be replaced by any other feeling. Shang Yuna said that most of the money you have now is not earned by your typing. Have you ever thought about changing careers? Lin Feng said, "Never thought about it." Shang Yuna said that if you want to quickly become a rich man, it is best to open a martial arts hall. Lin Feng said that the black boxing came faster. Shang Yuna said, "That's too dangerous, maybe the money is in hand, and you're dead." Lin Feng frowned lightly and said, I just meant that I will not fight black boxing, nor will I open a martial arts hall, I will always code words. Lin Feng's perseverance made Shang Yuna admire, but also made her helpless. The only thing she can do is support Lin Feng and hope that he will become a soon. Shang Yuna said, "Is it possible to raise prices in the short term?" Lin Feng said, "Yes, I don't know how many times better than I expected with the chaos of the spring and the white snow. It is estimated that the price will increase within 2 months, maybe within a month." Shang Yuna said, "How much can you mention?" Lin Feng said, "This is not very clear. It was almost midnight when I returned from the World Trade Center to the master bedroom." Shang Yuna followed Lin Feng to the master bedroom, and planned to sleep here tonight. Lin Feng turned on the computer and opened the pages to read the data. Shang Yuna sat next to him and was very excited to see the rapidly improving data. Shang Yuna said that the clicks are so high. There are also a lot of recommended tickets. Lin Feng, maybe you are really about to become a god. She soon found out that Yang Chun Baixu's reward was delivered again today, and she said excitedly, "Who is Yang Chun Baixu? It's too rich. I give you so much every day. How long will it last?" This is also a question that Lin Feng has been considering all the time. How long will Yang Chun Baixu's reward to him last? Now Yang Chun Baixu has deleted him from the chat friends. When her tipping stops, it disappeared completely from his sight. Maybe Yang Chun Baixu knows who he is, but he doesn't know who Yang Chun Baixu is. He really wanted to find out in the shortest possible time who this mysterious woman was and why she worked so hard to help him. Shang Yuna said, "Are you planning to code some more?" Lin Feng said, "No more, not in the state. I want to sleep with your arms around you now." Shang Yuna hoped that Lin Feng could be at the yard. Every word was money, but she didn't want to be too harsh on Lin Feng, lest Lin Feng have any opinion on her. After the cloud and the rain, Shang Yuna was sweating and her hair was messy, and the big soft bed was also messy. Even though the cloud and rain stopped, the two hot bodies were still sticking together tightly. Shang Yuna gasped and said, "You bad guy, you are too willing to work hard." I almost fell to the ground. Lin Feng said, "It doesn't seem to be very hard." Shang Yuna said, "I don't need to exert myself yet." "Then what do you want?" "Sleep with you." "You still want my life?" Xiakaiki was in Dainan's room, watching movies and chatting together. Xiakaiki said that the beautiful teacher Shang Yuna is sleeping with Lin Feng again. I really don't believe how long their love will last. Dainan said, "I do hope that Lin Feng and Yun Na can stay together until they get married." Xiakaiki said, "I know you will think about Lin Feng very much, but I always feel that Lin Feng and Shang Yuna will not be able to get together in the end." Dainan said, "You can't curse them in your heart. You should take care of your own business. Don't worry about Lin Feng and Yun Na. Do you think Lin Feng and Yun Na will choose you if they split up?" Xiakaiki was hit, but she couldn't refute it. It was true. Even if Lin Feng and Shang Yuna really broke up, they might not choose her. After a while, Fengnan Fashion Store has been open for more than a month. So far, it has not lost any money, but has made a small profit. It was another night. After returning, Dainan went to Lin Feng's master bedroom. As soon as Lin Feng turned on the computer, Dainan sat beside him and surrounded him with the smell of lily perfume. Since Shang Yuna became his girlfriend, Lin Feng didn't play with Dainan very much. Sometimes when Dainan's beauty and hotness were stimulated, he would endure it. When she was interested in the past, Shang Yuna would deliberately stimulate Lin Feng. She liked to let Lin Feng hug her, and she liked to let Lin Feng touch her. Even if Lin Feng put his hand into her panties, she was willing. Since Shang Yuna became Lin Feng's girlfriend, Dainan stopped deliberately provoking Lin Feng, and even the way of speaking has changed from before. Lin Feng said, "Do you have anything to do with me? You can say anything." Dainan said, "Let's share dividends." Linfeng said with a smile, the shop has just opened for more than a month and wants to share dividends, so I don't need to share dividends first, and I will talk about it after 3 months. Dinan said, but I can't hold it any longer. Who told me that we have never been a boss before? Let's share a red experience first, so that we will be more motivated in the future. Linfeng could understand her mood, and said with a smile, in fact, I have already calculated it. The profit of the small shop is more than 6,000 yuan in the first month after all kinds of expenses. If the dividend is distributed, each of us can get 3,000 yuan. Dinan said, then divide the more than 6,000 yuan earned, 3,000 yuan per person. Linfeng said, okay. In this way, when the Fengnan fashion store opened for more than a month, Linfeng and Dinan distributed dividends for the first time, and each received 3,000 yuan. At the same time, Xiaokaiki's salary for the first month was more than 3,000 yuan, even several hundred yuan more than the dividends of Linfeng and Dinan. Part-time workers earn more than their bosses. This is the case in some companies, as well as in the small shops of Linfeng and Dinan. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation.